When talking about the streaming wars, it was mainly just talking about the companies going against each other, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all of them just waging war on each other to, of course, get everybody's business. But one thing that we really didn't consider is the war between the streaming services and the movie theater chains. Okay. And maybe the reason why we didn't really think about that, in prior years, because there wasn't a pandemic happening, we always thought, the movie theaters will always be there, always be there. And now, after what HBO Max announced, well, AMC is pissed. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here. All right, AMC has fired back. Well, I mean, the headlines are saying AMC slams Warner Brothers HBO Max plans. WB's HBO Max plans right here. This is from IGN. I actually talked about it briefly when I was breaking down everything yesterday when it came to, whoa, that's crazy. I totally just big time Inception right there. That was crazy. Anyways, there you go right there, guys. This is just from IGN right here. Like I said, I briefly talked about it yesterday in my breakdown video when it came to the HBO Max announcement about AMC was already firing back. And this is what they had to say. This is the statement right here from CEO Adam Aron. He said, clearly, WarnerMedia intends to sacrifice a considerable portion of the profitability of its movie studio division and that of its production partners and filmmakers to subsidize its HBO Max startup. As for AMC, we will do all in our power to ensure that Warner does not do so at our expense. Ooh. Oh, man. Them's his fighting words. So that's interesting. Plot thickens a little bit. I mean, AMC they've been always the vocal ones when it comes to the movie theaters. I mean, when the whole Universal, when they were talking about their plan about having new releases come out, I think like 3 weeks after it would show up in theaters, they fired back on that as well. And it's going to be interesting to see when Disney Plus or anybody else, any of the other studios, Universal, whatever, when they decide to follow suit and do something with the streaming service same day or whatever the fuck. It's going to be interesting to see how AMC really reacts to all of that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's just something I never really thought of. And I think it's just because the pandemic, you didn't really consider the pandemic. It's like, yeah, but what? It's funny because AMC is getting pissed at WarnerMedia when they should be getting super fucking pissed at these goddamn politicians. That's what they should be doing. Okay. I mean, politicians, there's data out there. I did a video on the data. There's data you can look up. There's data just everywhere. And of course they always say follow the science, but they never want to follow the science. It's just do what you're told, essentially. And there's been data that's been collected when it comes to movie theaters that have been open all around the world. Are they, what do they call them? Mass spreaders or whatever the fuck, which sounds like a ridiculous porno movie name. Anyways, super spread. That's what it is. Sounds like a superhero porno name. Anyway, super spreaders. So when you're looking at all the data, we look at the data of a lot of things. I mean, it could even go to the schools and to everything. I mean, it's all just, no, we can't do it. It's fear-based. Everything's fear-based. And there's been studies like crazy. I mean, obviously in the past, 9 months, how long we've been in this damn pandemic, there's been people that have been doing studies and they've been out there, and there's been even top experts that have said certain things, and all of a sudden they change their tone, and it's a very strange. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, is AMC ever going to get pissed off at some of these politicians? I mean, they're the reasons why that their shit's closed. I mean, that's what it is. Their shit's closed because of that. They consider like a movie theater to be like a super spreader place when the data doesn't actually show that. So it's like WarnerMedia is trying to figure out their alternative. They're trying to still, hey, we still want to make movies. We still want to get content out there. How can we do so when you got the two biggest markets that won't open, just won't open at all? So what are we going to do? And they came up with their alternative, which is, they're still going to put movies, these big movies, in the movie theaters, but people are just going to have the option to watch it at home. And yes, there's going to be a lot of people that will choose to watch it at home, but you'd be surprised. I'm curious to see with this whole little experiment that's going to be happening. I'm curious to see, and it's going to start, of course, with Wonder Woman 84 on the numbers, on how they break down the numbers, how many people, how much box office does it actually pull in from the movie theaters, and then, of course, how do they correlate that? And how do they figure out analytics when it comes to people watching? I mean, of course, they could just they can get the viewership, but how does that work with like the subscriptions and everything? It's all logistics that I just, it's not me. That's Steven. He's the one that can break all that down probably. But I mean, I can understand why AMC is pissed, and I'm sure the other CEOs of the other theaters are probably pissed off too. I mean, look what happened to the stocks. The stocks plummeted after the announcement. I mean, that had to hurt a little bit. And but it's just like it's companies just looking out for themselves right now. That's what's happening. I mean, that's exactly what's happening. So it's like, yeah, you can get pissed off at WarnerMedia, but WarnerMedia is just trying to like, hey, we still want to do our stuff. We still have all these movies planned, and we have these big movies that are coming out, and we want to just get the most bucks that we can. And it's not. We already tried an experiment with Tenet, didn't work. That's the thing. With Tenet, it didn't fully work, even though, when people go like, oh yeah, that was a total flop and that was a horrible thing that happened, they totally fucked that up. And I'm like, well, I mean, to be honest, to have the two biggest markets closed and have Tenet still make over 350 million worldwide, for people not wanting to go to the movies and for theater chains being closed, not too shabby. It makes you wonder if everything was open, how much money would that movie have made? But but overall, it did lose money, sadly. But it was an experiment, and I think when that happened, it was just like, all right, we're going to streaming. We're definitely going to streaming. And like I said, I get why AMC, they're pissed because they're hanging on by a thread. It's like, throw us a bone here. And it's all fucked up right now, guys. It's all fucked up because I don't want to see this. I want everything to just go back to normal, but it's not going to go back to normal. It just isn't. It's just never going to go back to normal. I, for one, I'll go to the movie theaters. Like I've said, once they open them back up and all the new movies come out, I will go see them, and then I'll watch them again in the comfort of my own home. I am looking forward to that. But yeah, but there's just going to be more of this, and it's going to be interesting because they said, I mean, just the way that it was almost like a threat. Like, we will do all in our power to ensure that Warner does not do so at our expense. It's like, whoa, man. I don't know. That's good. There's going to be legal battles, I think, but I don't know how you win that. It's like, again, you should be fucking pissed off at these politicians for keeping your doors closed. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, when there's like dig up the data, like find that fucking hardcore expert data that's out there that shows that movie theaters aren't super spreaders. Okay. Find that. And then fucking start yelling at these politicians. That's what I think you should do, more than just yelling at a company that's just trying to find an alternative. But at the same time, it was always going to go down this road. We knew that. It was always going to go down this road. It's like, yep, this is where it's headed. Streaming. And so it's going to be interesting. So I'm sure there's going to be more videos about this. So look forward to that. And let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied on that one. Hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell if you'd be so kind, so you know when I'm doing this stuff. And you're going to want to watch the vodka stream later. Got a couple of directors coming on. If you saw a movie called The Fat Man, it'll be those guys. So tune into that. And make sure you follow me on, like I said, all the sock meds are down below: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And then, of course, you got Patreon if you want to if you want to join the Film Junkie Patreon. And then, of course, merchandise down below, guys. All right. Talk to you later.